Hey everybody, Norm over here, and I've got my friend Robert Schwartzman over here, and it's kind of a family thing. He and his brother have come here for a while, and his brother Jason does a lot of movies, and Robert, you have a new movie that you just did too, right?
Yeah, I did. It's the first feature film I've been able to direct, which is a whole other thing, I think.
Cool.
But music I've been making music since I started my band Rooney in high school, and I was a junior, and music was I feel like the industry was very different in 1999, 2000, obviously.
Yes.
I don't have to explain why it's different.
No. Downloading for free and all that kind of
exactly.
stuff.
But yeah, it's interesting coming from starting a band and touring and making records, because a lot of that is, you form this identity for a project and you shape a project. There's a lot of creative, assets that you contribute to a band, but it's very similar to filmmaking, I think. So it was interesting to find the similarities.
Rooney's a very popular young band, and I've seen them many times on the late night shows and all kinds of stuff, and wish them great success and all that. And so this movie is about a musician, right?
Yeah, it's called Dreamland, and it's about a piano player who's sort of at a point in his life where a lot of millennials might find themselves today, which is not knowing what to do with your life and being in relationships that feel long expired. And then at that point, you're very vulnerable. You find yourself doing something that might be unusual or unexpected. So that's where the story leads. It's a love story with an unusual twist.
Yeah.
A lot of music. He's a piano player. So it was interesting to kind of have to create a landscape of real piano playing.
What kind of genre is he?
Style of the music?
Yeah.
Well, jazz is the kind of stuff that it's like loungy piano music, but it's tough to clear all that music when you're making like an independent feature.
Oh yeah.
So and obviously knowing what it's like to clear music from the other side, I always want songs to be given the proper license fee, because movies, it's interesting. Like when I was looking at the budget of the movie, traditionally most producers don't put a lot in the music category, which is part of the problem, right? That's like an industry problem. But my feeling is I know what it's like to get an offer that's like a really kind of not the best license opportunity for a song that you feel should be valued. So we wanted to treat all the songs really well and give everybody a fair fee based on our budget. But we had to use a lot of public domain music, so it's a lot of like classical music.
It's funny, I have a friend of mine who did a movie on Randy Rhoads, and he did the entire movie, spent his life savings on it.
Wow.
And then the music got blocked because he couldn't get releases on the music. Ended up in a huge lawsuit, and it was really, it took a couple years out of his life and spent a lot of time in court. And, it's just, that's, I've known things like with the Hendrix movies and stuff like that, where, if you don't have the clearance, it can get real ugly real quick.
It's tough too, because if you're shooting music that's shot in the scene, like if an actor has to sing a song on camera, you can't cut around that, right? That's intent. It's going to be in that scene. You can't replace that song.
Sure.
So that's the interesting part about making a movie with music featured in the scenes, is that you have to be pretty well, you have to do your homework ahead of time to make sure you can actually get this music.
Yep.
So
otherwise, you got to go back to the drawing board and recut.
Yeah, you can't it's tough to do that.
Yeah.
So, but I really enjoyed making this movie, and I think it speaks to I wanted to make it independently because I think it's very exciting to free yourself from a lot of the roadblocks that happen when you have more money for a movie. Like a comic book movie, for example, a studio movie. There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. There's a lot of people really nervous about the release. It's got to perform at a certain thing to justify continuing to keep your job and make more of these movies.
Oh yeah.
So I liked doing it independently and finding the family of people to gather around you. It takes a village mentality. It needs to happen to make anything at that, to make anything really.
Now that you did it, you have like a cast of certain people that you'll call for your next movie and that kind of thing.
I hope so. I always love when filmmakers develop a certain ensemble of actors that they always go back to. I respect that. Like
Chris Guest with Spinal Tap, obviously they did Mighty Wind and they did For Your Consideration and Best in Show. Yeah. And it's the same
It's true.
guys, they all communicate well with each other, and
Right.
so it's kind of nice when you have that. And then you had to take time off with Rooney while you were doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
presume.
Taking time away. I was doing Rooney for so long that after a while you want to take a step back and kind of reapproach it and clear your head a little bit. I think a lot of people sometimes have gaps between records because they need it. You need to recharge your batteries creatively. I think when you get your hands dirty in other ways, it's inspiring to come back because you rethink the other things you've known for so long.
Right.
Like nothing should get to a point where you don't feel inspired and excited. Right? It's time to
Absolutely,
change something, right?
It's good to like what you do.
It's so important, especially when it's something in the arts or entertainment, because I think no one's forcing you to do it. It comes out of a passion or a love of it. But anyway, I found my way back to Rooney, and I made a new record called Washed Away. So I was out on the road promoting Washed Away as well as telling the Dreamland story. So it was kind of great.
Yeah, they go together.
They go together, and I got to write original music for the movie as well and put out a soundtrack. And I'm really excited about the music in the movie, getting to contribute original music to it. So there's a lot of great bands that have songs in it. So it's
And
all kind of tied.
your brother Jason is
And he's in
pretty
it.
successful. Oh, he's in it too.
Yeah,
Cool, nice.
No,
So,
Jason has a small part.
yeah, we know Jason. He's a really
Yeah.
good kid, and a great actor, and he's
Yeah,
been
he's
in
awesome.
a lot of stuff.
He's great. Yeah.
And you're also friends with our buddy Mike Einzinger from
Yeah,
Incubus.
Mike's-
His great band. And
He's such a good guy. Mike's like the nicest guy.
did you guys grow up in Calabasas as well and all that? Because Mike grew up
Yeah.
with my son Jordan in Calabasas.
Right.
So.
Yeah, we.
And Dan Einzinger, Dan Estrin from Hoobastank.
Right, yeah, they're Calabasas
They were all
guys.
kind of part of the
Right.
same
Right.
crowd of people.
I grew up in Los Angeles, not in that area, but I grew up closer to the UCLA area, and went to high school here and started Rooney here. So, but yeah, you start to meet bands. There was a good music scene in the late '90s for LA bands
Absolutely.
that would kind of play together. So if you feel like I feel like we came up in a community of musicians in LA that were really inspiring to be around. That's what you want because you feed off each other.
Oh yeah. Well, LA at one point was almost like Seattle was at their big point. Queens of the Stone Age, and there were a few
right.
other bands here that were young, right about the same time. They were all kind of peers, and all became very successful all at the same time.
And it helped. It's exciting because it kind of spills into the other projects. I think it's great when one band in a community can find an audience. It opens up that door to more people, which is exciting. And I think it's great to help each other.
Yeah, well, when one takes a step up the ladder, then you drag
And
the other
next one
guys up and
that's
keep going
ideal.
up the rungs of the ladder. So.
That's the best. It's the best for music to have that mentality, I think. I think a lot of music out there is very collaborative music. There's a lot of remixing and a lot of featuring. Today is very collaborative in the music industry, and there's a lot of cross pollination with artists. And I want to see more alternative or indie rock bands also embrace that mentality.
Yep.
Because it's important to create that kind of synergy in music. Music needs music, right?
Absolutely.
So, whatever world we live in today, I think that's an important thing to preserve, I think, in this industry.
And if you can incorporate film and music, getting your tunes in the movies,
It's so
and
important.
it kind of
It's so
all
important.
works
'Cause
together.
Everything's so hard. There's so much out there that it's hard to get radio. It's very competitive. And I think that movies can allow a great outlet for discovery.
A lot of great acts have been discovered through movies and through commercials.
Totally. Yep.
You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
so-
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, listen, it's great talking to you, Robert. I appreciate you
Thanks for having me here.
doing this, and we
Yeah.
like to. Can you noodle a little bit for us?
This guitar. What is this guitar?
That is a 1963 Martin D-28,
Yeah.
and it's got some soul. It's,
So good.
yeah.
There's a song in Dreamland called "Sad But True" that I wrote for the movie, and anyway, I would play it now, but I literally fried myself from touring this weekend. But Dreamland,
I would sing it for you, but that would fry this whole thing, and you'd have to turn it off.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but I'll tell you, just so everyone knows too, Dreamland's going to be on Netflix. It starts next month. So if
Cool.
you're out there, cue us up, and if you like it, let us know. And then check out Washed Away. We'll be on the road this summer, so.
all right, very cool. So Rooney
Yeah.
and Dreamland. Robert Schwartzman, thank you so much, buddy, and say hi to your
you, sir.
brother
Yeah,
and
thanks for
Mike
having me.
and all the other guys
Really
that I
appreciate
knew growing up. So they all kind of shopped with me as they were coming along, and
It's incredible, yeah.
it's
Came
kind
to
of
the right place,
cool
yeah.
just being here and still being around to appreciate it and seeing old friends.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks you. Have a good day.